Hello and welcome to another Roadie video. As you can see, I'm already in the house. We're just about to leave on this one. So as I'm talking, that'll probably happen. Just like to get in that Roadie does really well leaving the house this time. It's very calm. He actually waits for me with a loose leash. You'll see that the camera doesn't jerk around at all once I'm outside and I'm locking the door. It does then go straight into a pull to get going, but hey, small bit of progress. He's happy waiting for me once we're out the door, and that's nice to see. So I'm just clipping him in here. Otherwise, this video, we're going for a walk around the area in which Roadie lives. I let him choose where he goes predominantly. A lot more strict on the pulling now. I'm going to start clamping down on that quite hard. He hasn't responded to being given more leash than is necessary, which most dogs generally do. They start to choose to be close to you once they begin to trust you. Roadie still just wants to go at full speed and pull, so we're going to lock that down a lot more, and I start on this walk. We come across some dogs, but we don't really get to work around them. They're just around. And we come across a couple of teenage girls later on in the video, and that's a very interesting interaction, and I'll do some analysis on that when we get there. It's a very good indication, or demonstration rather, of what happens when nervous people and nervous dogs meet. It doesn't go as smoothly as you'd like, and yeah, if you're a bit scared of dogs, it's not always a good idea to go up to a dog and try and touch it. There we go. We'll get there and analyze that at the right time. Otherwise, I'll go back to original audio and enjoy. Okay, he wants to go this way. Okay, same deal. That's about as much leash as he's going to get. Anything more than that, we're going to just arrest the pull. Right, we're going to shorten that a little bit. In fact, just while we're on pavements and roads. Okay, yeah, well, that's the deal. Put that down a little bit. I'm going to be strict with him as we go. It's windy. Apologise for the wind noise. I'm going to have to do a bit of voicing over, I think, otherwise no one's going to have a clue what's going on. It's just too much too fast. Oh, he's distracted from the pool. I'll step forward. Okay, nicely done. Same deal, way into it, way too much. So, yeah, Roadie, this is the day you meet a bit of discipline. Not interested in your constant pulling anymore. Are we? We've had enough of that. So what am I doing in a technical sense? There's two things going on here. The first is absolutely a punishment. So I am stopping him from getting what he desires, which is to get closer to something he wants to smell. Technically, in behavioural terms, that is a punishment. But beyond that, what I'm doing is just forcing him to come back from whatever it is in the future that he's trying to get to, be that a nanosecond in the future or 10, 20 seconds in the future, to exactly where he is and what's going on around him. And that's me just walking slowly-ish. I'm not walking my usual pace. And I expect him to be with me, and I'm going to make that point with the leash now. I'm not going to talk to him. The cue for him to be able to move on is my footprints. You'll hear my footsteps. That's the cue that we can go again. Yeah, so using the leash to restrain the dog, stop from the walking or the pulling, that is a punishment in the technical sense. I'm using a piece of equipment to stop the dog getting a desire that it wants. What it is doing, because it is, I suppose, what you might call a fairly low-level punishment, it's forcing him to come back into the moment, forcing him to be more aware of his immediate surroundings and have a look around and a sniff around. He was having a stretch then, which was weird. Okay, so we got a cyclist coming. Don't know what he's going to do with this. Nothing. He's too interested in smelling. Great. Love it. He's acknowledged them and he's ignoring them. So we move on. So I've just interrupted there because it gets ridiculously windy over the next 25-30 seconds. You just can't hear anything except wind noise, even though I'm trying to talk. So I'll do a bit of voiceover. So what I was saying is this Stopping, starting, and using the leash to hold Roadie back is a new tactic. It's not one I've been particularly interested in applying to him at this point. I was hoping he would get used to what we do sufficiently and not be that excited about the environments that he's in, that he would begin to choose to be hanging around where I am. That's not happened as fast or as intensely as I anticipated or wanted. So I've gone to this technique. It's not one I particularly like using because it's a punishment-based technique, and whilst it's a very low-level punishment-based technique, the problem with punishment is they don't actually work to change a behavior. That does not change Roadie's desire to pull. It does not affect the reason he's pulling. The reason he's pulling is he is just so into the sights, sounds, smells of the world around him that is a more interesting and exciting thing to be pursuing than just going on a walk with me. I am not important enough in his life that he feels the need to moderate his pulling to actually just be where I am. So if I let this leash out fully, it's a 10-meter long leash, he'd just be at the 10-meter point pulling. So that tells me a few things. It tells me that he doesn't really care about me. In the scary moments, he does lean on me for confidence. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that when we've gone to the mall and he has been wary of the noise. When he comes back to me of his own free will, there's no leash pulling involved in that. He wants to be where he can get some confidence, and that's by me. But when he's not scared by the environment, he doesn't care where I am or about me. And if essentially, brutally honestly, that's what pulling means. If your dog is pulling, there are two strands to it. One, you're not important to the dog. What it is important is what it's pulling towards. Two, and with Roadie, he suffers from both of these, definitely, and so do a lot of dogs. He has too much energy. He hasn't got a good outlet for that energy yet. He didn't get a treadmill this week, so he is absolutely chock full of fast twitch energy as any 4-year-old dog would be. So he's at the peak of his physical condition at 4 years old. He has the most energy he's ever going to have in his life as an adult, and it doesn't have the right outlet for it. So it makes it really, really hard for a dog to behave and walk nicely because they just want to get rid of their energy, and that's the situation Roadie's in. So he's in both of those 2 points. He doesn't have the right outlets for his energy. That's why getting him on the treadmill, which we've been doing, is so important, because he walks so much nicer afterwards because he feels good for a run. He needs that. And in fairness, he probably needs it 3 times a week, but that would be an astronomical cost. And secondly, he's not my dog. And that is brutally open to be seen here. All he wants to do is go. He doesn't care where I am until I use the leash to stop him. That's the only time he cares what's going on and what I'm doing, is when I'm using that leash to restrain him and I'm stopping, I'm waiting, and I'm forcing him to just come back to the environment that's right in front of his nose and his face, not the environment that's 30 seconds, 40 seconds down the street. As you can see, he's pulling out like a train again there. And that's the reality of it. And I've had to work dogs with this situation before, where it's both strands of this issue, and I've had to work with dogs where it's only one of those 2 strands, which is the issue. Hey, you got to take it with the rough and the smooth. It is what it is. But for those of you with dogs that pull, they're your 2 things, and depending on your particular unique situation, one of those will be the dominant reason your dog pulls over the other. Roadie, it's a pretty 50-50 mix here. And he's certainly not a dog that makes friends easily. That's just who he is. And that's the way he is. Hopefully, I'm going to keep talking till we get to the end of the street and make a turn, because the wind was just ripping down here. There's a gentleman, we just looked down that side street, there's a gentleman just getting out of his car over there, going to the house. He said something to us. It was nice. It was a nice greeting. He said hello or good day or whatever. Can't remember. It was more than that, a couple of words. Maybe even said nice dog. I can't remember. Roadie had a quick look at him, and then back to the pulling down here. So again, just stop, start, stop, start. The more we can distract Roadie into looking around him and smelling around him, rather than just being go forward at full speed all the time, the better. But like I said before, this version of doing it with using the leash to control him it's a substitute trick, really. It doesn't fix anything in and of itself. It's a means to an end to start getting him to change his mind, but the actual the actual leash restraint, because it's a punishment, it does not change his desire to do what he's doing. Can do is create an incompatible behavior, i.e. he can't go anywhere, so he may stubbornly do nothing, which you see all the time in the power pose, as we know from the science of behavior. When somebody or an animal is punished, if they want to avoid punishment, sometimes what they will do is stubbornly do nothing. That's what Roadie's power pose is. Roadie's power pose, when he's got his back legs stuck out behind him, fully tense, ready to go forward at 100 miles an hour, but he can't because I've got the leash tight on him. That is Roadie stubbornly doing nothing to try and avoid the punishment by moving on to do what he was doing in the first place. The punishment of the leash does not change his desire to go and move forward. It just doesn't. All it can do is make his conscious brain think, well, I can't do that. What is an incompatible behavior that I could do that I will actually be allowed to do? And that's where punishment comes into its own. It allows his brain to go, well, actually, you can just go sideways and smell this thing. And that's great. Of course you can. So that new behavior is then what the punishment initiates in the brain. The brain gets a reward from doing the new behavior because it will ideally be a smell, something nice, something reinforcing, and then that pattern starts to exist in the conscious brain, and it goes, oh, you can override this punishment by doing this. Oh, and that's actually quite fun. That's good for me. I like that. Let's do that. That was fun. Let's do that again when we reach that situation. But the punishment in and of itself does not change the mind. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, it's kind of a little trick, but hopefully it will work well. Rollo's about to start barking. I do apologise. You'll probably pick that up on the mic, so we'll stop. So sorry about that. Rollo was barking at someone who dared to walk past my house. He's finished now. Anyway, we've turned the corner, so the wind noise should have dissipated. We'll carry on doing stop, start. You'll see. I'll go back to the original audio, and hopefully I don't just repeat everything I've said on the voiceover. But oh well, never mind if I do. I take that back. The wind noise has not dissipated at all. I'm sorry. It's just very windy this day. We did this walk, and you can see the trees in the distance swaying around. Back to Roadie's power pose, and just stop, start. So unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of that in this walk. Nice to see him turn his head there and disengage and wonder what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. That's always good to see. And good to see him getting involved in a sniff there and a check-in with me. Oh, I missed that. Didn't realise he did that. So it's good. Nice to see. Some point along here, he does actually turn around with some frustration on his face, and I think he went to try and chomp on the leash. It might be coming up in a sec. But that's certainly a bad habit of his. I don't like the way he chomps on the leash when he gets frustrated. It's not good for his teeth, and it's not good for the leash. So what I would like to do is get him in a harness. Here we go. There it is. That was him trying to jump the leash. Couldn't reach it. What I'd like to do is get him in a harness, and then the leash won't be anywhere near his mouth. But that will allow him to pull even harder, and he's already a freight train when he pulls. There's a yawn there, interesting. So yawning, especially for dogs that are going full speed forward all the time, couple those two things together, it's an anxious dog. That's not news for Roadie. He's not a confident dog, I know that. But the yawning is a de-stress. Dogs that are yawning when they're out and about are de-stressing. Same with the shaking. It's a bit of a shake out the stress. His ears waving in the wind. That's how windy it is. Roadie's ears are picked up by the wind. It's crazy windy here. Even with a mic on, just straight through my windproof microphone. It was really bad. Sorry, it is what it is. You'll just have to put up with a voiceover. Not that there's a lot of audio to this. We're literally just walking down the street, not doing a lot. The interesting bit is going to be once we get across the main road and we go somewhere we've never been before. There's a dog over there. Oh yeah, interestingly, that dog, if you look top left of the screen, just going out of shot now, that dog's off leash. That dog is completely off leash, which makes me nervous, I'll be honest. I don't really like the idea of someone having an off-leash dog next to a busy road. I mean, each to their own. It's up to the owner if they want to take that risk with cars being around and other dogs being around. But I also don't really like that risk Oh, look at the power in Roadie's pose there. I'm not sure what that was about, but I wasn't having it. He had nose to the ground. I don't think he was actually trying to cross the road at that point, but I mean, he's in a car park space. Anyone could just try and pull in there. So I dragged him out of the road. I don't like doing that. I don't like using the leash to pull the dog around and manipulate it, but I had no real choice there. Now he's watching the other dog, and this is fine. So we're just waiting for him to be bored of the other dog, which there you go, he's sniffing around now. It didn't last long. He's not too bad with dogs on the other side of the road. Yeah, but that launch into the car parking space wasn't an attempt to cross the road. It was an attempt to smell something that's on the floor there. I don't know what. I didn't see anything interesting. But yeah, that took a lot of strength to hold him back there. He pulled hard. Then we got to do a little bit of work around the other dog. A little bit. I mean, it's walking on. But yeah, it's off leash. I don't like that, because if the dog comes up to him, Roadie's not ready for this. Roadie is not ready for dogs he doesn't know coming up to him. It won't go well. It doesn't go well. It's happened to us once before. I've not published that video, which I have, because it didn't go very nicely. I ended up having to separate the dogs and using Roadie's collar to choke him to let go of the other dog. But I don't think the other dog came in with many good intentions either, I'll be honest. I've shown the video to a couple of other people, and we're kind of evenly split as to what we read the other dog's intentions were. But yeah, I've not published that because it's not very nice footage, and I have no need to do that. That's what happens when you have an off-leash dog come running up to you and you don't even know it's there, because I didn't know it was there till it was too late. So yeah, it does make me nervous, and that's not a good thing. You can't be nervous when you're walking a dog that's nervous, because as you'll see later on when we meet nervous people, it doesn't go well. You're supposed to be the calm rock of foundation for the dog, and if you're not, nothing will go well. So in such situations, as you've seen when the dog slipped his collar and I was walking Roadie right in front of us, you just got to be confident, stay calm, and move on if you have to, using the leash as necessary. I know they're on the other side of the road, so there's not a huge concern that it was going to get over to us, but you never know. You just never know. And I really also worry about traffic. It only takes that dog to have one moment of non-concentration. There's a lot of faith in your dog that it's going to heel walk that nicely. Bearing in mind, when we saw it, it was not heel walking. It was a good 4 or 5 meters in front of its owner. Yeah, bold. I wouldn't off-leash my dog near a road. Not a busy road, not like this. Maybe a very quiet road that's a cul-de-sac or a residential bit, but this is a busy road. As you see, there's cars coming every 10 seconds or so, in both directions. Well, hey, each to their own. Roadie back in his power pose, pulling again. He doesn't get tired of this easily. He really doesn't. We did have some good moments last week when he was walking loose leash. I don't think we quite get there this week, but then, like I said, he's not been on the treadmill, so he's got a lot more energy this week than he had the last walk we did, and that shows in how he is not able to be calm when he's out. That's why we bang on about exercise to dog owners so much. It is such a big part of the puzzle of getting dogs to be able to behave. I use the analogy of children again because it's true, especially young boys. You chain an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old boy up to a desk inside for 8 hours, or in a dog's case 16 hours of the day, whatever it might be, and then you introduce them to the football pitch and tell them, no, just walk nicely. Well, how many boys are going to be able to manage to do that? None. They just can't do it. They have energy to burn, the systems are running hot, and they've got to get that energy out before they can behave. Your dogs are the same. They are designed, bred to do a job, and invariably that job is a pretty darn tough job. Otherwise, dogs wouldn't exist to do it. Humans would do it themselves. So that dog is bred to do some pretty cool stuff, and if we don't give them that outlet to do that high energy cool stuff, they can't behave. They just can't. It's not possible. And the result you see is dogs that pull and dogs that mess around and do stupid things when they're out on a walk. Right, here we are. Here we're coming up to the traffic light. Again, technique for this, a lot of people will come up to the light and tell their dog to stop and sit and stay and all the rest of it. It's not part of the training for Roadie. All we're doing is, hey, I want him to be where I am. Yes, I'm using the leash to keep him restrained. He's not going on the road. I'm not letting him do that. But eventually the pattern's going to imprint on him that when we come to a traffic light, because he'll recognize these, he knows the drill, we just wait until we hear the noise that says we can cross. And dogs are pretty clever and quick at picking up that signal. They understand what the green man means. If you obey that signal yourself every single time you get to a light, they'll soon work out that you don't cross the road unless you get the the green light. That's assuming where you are. If you're watching this in a different country, when you get a green light to cross the road, it actually makes a noise. Here in Australia it does, or in Victoria. I don't actually know if it does elsewhere in the country, but yeah, there's a noise and a visual signal as well, so you know when you can cross the road, and most dogs pick that up pretty quick. We just stopped, so we're going a different way. This is new, completely new. I've not walked down here with Roadie before. In fact, just when we turn right, I won't have walked down this road ever before in my life. It'll be somewhere completely new, probably to the pair of us. That's a guess. I don't know if Roadie's been down there before or not, no idea. But he chose to go this way, and that's fine. Absolutely okay with that choice. And we will eventually, at the end of this road, tie up with where we were last week, going down the park bit, and then come back along more familiar territory. So as we get around this corner, I will try going back to original audio for a couple of seconds and we'll see what it's like. Otherwise, I'll come back to commentate about what's going on and think of something else interesting to say while Roadie's doing his stop-start, which goes on for a while yet.
Give him that a little bit. That's too much. But it's nice. He is slowly responding to a boundary setting. Right, this is another road we got to cross or walk down, one of the two. It's a chiropractic. We can walk on the grass, that's fine. So, where are we going? We're going this way, are we? You're going to get me lost. That kind of pull we're not putting up with. Nope. Not at all. So that was pretty intense. How you do it? It's a serious pull, that really is. Right, give him a little. The leash has gone loose. Okay, let him have what he wants. Let him have this meal. I can't see what's coming around this corner, so I am going to step wide. Yeah, I have no idea where this goes. I've never been down here before in my life. This is completely new to me. Driven past this road thousands of times. Never driven or walked down it before, so this will be interesting. Pay attention to where I'm going. So, Roadie, we have got 10 minutes until we're halfway through. What are you eating? Oh my word. Didn't take you long to snaffle whatever that was. Maybe I'll be able to see it if I replay the footage.
Nope, I've got no idea what he was that he ate and snaffled up off the floor there. Sorry.
Well, that was quick. That was quick. Zero hesitation at something eaten off the floor. Okay, is that bus turning or stopping? Stopping. Okay. We'll have to do likewise. Okay, good to go. We don't have a pull, so we'll see if anyone gets off. This is a person, a street person. We're just having a look at them, which is fine. More interested, which is exactly what I expect. Just a sniff and a look. Okay. A little bit of a pull, not too bad. Something rattling in the wind. It's not a wind chime. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, it's my leash. Well, maybe not. No, it's not. I don't know what it is. Something's jangling. What's that noise? Something is jangling in the wind. Can't tell where it's coming from. Getting closer to it, it's going louder. Not bothering Roadie, so why should I bother me? Okay, it's just getting into a pool, so I'm going to rest that a bit now. Gate is at Roadie's house. I don't know why I noticed that. Strange. It's a bit pulley. Wasn't your worst, wasn't your best. Too much pulling. It's not hard and persistent like it was, but it is doing it. So just give my hand a break. Thumb is feeling the pressure of that leash there. Stop that noise. Okay, just people. Okay, so this is a park area coming up to. I know where it is. So this would be an ideal route to turn into and head back. This is the far end of the park we were at last week. We took a right turn instead of going straight to the end of it. I don't know where I am. So as far as you can see down there, we took a left where this path goes. So if we go straight on, we will come back towards Roadie's house. He wants to go that way. I'd rather not. So we're gone for 2 hours. It's not really what I want. That was a weird noise. He gave up the pull when I pulled back, so I'm not going to stop there. If he responds to that tension, I'm going to just roll with it. Right, Roadie. Do we stay on the path, or do we have to cross on the dirt? I don't think we cross on. I think the path follows the fence, and we're not going that way. Yeah, we've got to go this way. Smelly as that might be, that's not where we're going. You can smell the man. That's fine. That way too hard. Yeah, we're deviating from this. We're going the other way now. More of an explore, and immediately the leash is on his legs.
So I've interrupted again because it gets ridiculously windy again for a minute as we're walking down here. My daughter's shouting stuff at me. Okay. Sorry about that. I was distracted. My daughter was telling me something about my ironing. So we've got Roadie going on to more leash here as we're walking down the park a bit. The path we are on goes over to the left. It does rejoin us eventually. We will be back on it. There's a nice check-in from him there. But I wanted to give him the opportunity to have an explore, get some length out on the leash, and as you'll see, he's doesn't really hesitate very long before he reaches the full extension of the leash. Longer than he usually takes, to be fair. I mean, I'm not restraining him here. Yeah, I got a knot in my leash again. I don't know how I do it. Sometimes I really don't. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's off. He has to sniff around some of the trees. There's literally no one else here, which is weird. Just weird. Don't understand why there's no one here. It's a nice day. It's all right. It's really windy, but it's warm enough, and sun's out. But there you go. He's using a little bit more of the leash. So that path up to the left is where we went last week. So we were basically walking directly opposite direction to where we're going now, and we went up around the park that's now on my left, and then back home that way. So we're now back in familiar territory once we cross this path, somewhere we've been before, and we will make our way home through places that he's been before. So we'll have to cross that dual carriageway main road. We use a slightly better crossing place, I think, than last time, or the road's just not as busy. We don't get beeped at by a truck, which is nice. It is a proper crossing point. It's too busy a road for doing that without a traffic light, really. But where we cross the road is where we need to cross the road. Nice to see him trotting about, having a sniff and a smell. He's not really pulling, which is this is why I like the long line the most, because it really does show you how far the dog wants to be from you when you're doing stuff. And most of the way along here, he really doesn't get the full 10 meters away from me, which is that's progress. That's showing me something. He's not ready to be 2 to 3 meters away, but he's also not wanting to be the whole distance. He at least gets stuck between his legs here a lot, and it is annoying. That is what it is. I wanted to get him on a harness that will improve that. I know that mean he can pull me harder, and he's already a freight train, so we're going to weigh the pros and cons of that up against each other and see what we think, but unless I try it, I won't find out. I have a feeling in a minute we're going to get surprised by someone on a scooter or a bike. I can't remember. I haven't watched the footage forward, so I don't know. I'm fairly sure that happens, but and Roadie deals with it fine. Maybe they come straight at us around the corner. But anyway, they're moving quite quick. We'll see that in a minute or 5 because this path's quite long. We're not that close to the main road yet, but we'll get there. Roadie goes to the toilet as well. I think I managed to avoid getting all that on film, but he goes in the most awkward of places in a bush. But there we are. Again, it's just things you have to deal with. No major complaints. It's just part of life. But yeah, you can see the leash there in the shadow of it reflecting. He's not pulling hard. He's really not. He's actually just existing a little bit further away from me than he has been, and that's great. That is great. Not that long ago that if he could have the whole 10, he would have the whole 10 and he'd still pull. So despite my protesting at the start of this video about about him wanting to pull no matter how far away from me he is, well, we're getting somewhere with that. That is changing. Yeah, there he goes, pulling in a bush. Yeah, lovely. Didn't make it easy for me to get that. But yeah, if you're a bit squeamish, and just move away now and don't look. But look, he's waiting for me. Look at that. He's actually looking and waiting for me. Perfect. I have had a look around, make sure no one and nothing is coming while I'm distracted, so I don't get surprised and yanked off my feet, because that would be a disaster. Now we're down the sort of enclosed area covered by trees and a fence. The wind, I think, has died off here, so once we're moving again, I'll switch back to the original audio and we'll see how bad it is and take it from there. Although you see the tree swaying there, so maybe the wind hasn't. Probably is still quite windy, but I think it's from behind me. We'll give it a go. I'll come back on if it is still awful wind noise.
Right, so where is this? think this will be the path that now goes parallel to the road that runs parallel to the wall. Yeah, I like that. Particularly impressed with that, dude. You nearly did what I wanted. Step over the leash is what I wanted. Didn't do it. Yeah, no, it's back under both legs. Fantastic. Yeah, there's the road. Oh. So I can't see what's around the corner here, so I know we're going to wind it in a bit. Any surprises? Oh look, a collection of shopping trolleys. Oh dear. Roadie. Okay, as we approach the main road and bicycles. Hello.
So I've frozen it there just because I wasn't sure what Roadie was going to do, so I've kept him on a shorter, tighter leash. He was interested, but it wasn't reaction of any significant magnitude. But yeah, things moving fast coming towards you definitely gets dogs' attention, and if they've got a desire to chase things, that'll be the moment it gets triggered. So one has to be ready, but again, calm is king. You've got to stay relaxed, be ready for things to happen, but or assume things might happen and be ready, but you have to stay relaxed, otherwise you'll imprint that onto the dog every time it happens, and that's not what you want, because you'll make the reaction a self-fulfilling prophecy.
We can cross it here, it's not ideal. Go all the way to the lights. Either sort of makeshift crossing. We were across the other day, it's not great, it is busy. If it scares him, it's not really ideal, but anyway, here it is. Here's the makeshift crossing. We are going to have to pause in the middle of the road, but there's a grass verge to do exactly that.
Just jumping on the voiceover again, because the wind just gets joke levels across the road here, and all you can hear is wind noise, even though I'm trying to talk. Yeah, it's a pedestrian crossing. It's not traffic light controlled, nor do I have right of way, so this is busy, it's distracting, it's noisy. Oh, we're going up here. I don't remember doing this. So we're going to a different place to cross. Why did I choose to do that? Don't know. Anyway, we will cross the road. It is still a designated crossing area, just not as good as a traffic lighted one. We'll skedaddle across. Roadie will try and go in the shop into the chemist's. Not surprised, it smells very nice. And then we'll head back towards his house down the place we've been several times before. I think he gets surprised by someone coming out of the automatic doors just beyond the chemist once we get across the road. I don't remember if it makes him jump or not, but he was certainly very interested in the person, and he tried to go back where we came from to follow them for a bit. So they must have smelt interesting or had something about them that was interesting to him. At the moment, we're just waiting for the traffic to clear so we can cross the road. This is where it was at its windiest, but obviously cars and trucks make noise as well, so there's not much point in listening to them. As you can tell, we're waiting a while, but that's not a bad thing at all. Good for Roadie to have to learn patience, and being able to stand or sit still somewhere is good for him. As you can see, he's fairly pulley there to get across. I'm not going to have any interest in nicely walking across the road. I will take the pulling. It's busy, we've got to get across. That just comes with practice. Just will come with practice. not too bothered about that, because it is noisy, the things are moving fast, it's a distracting environment, and it is a little bit scary. I'm not going to lie about that, it is. So here he goes. Yeah, he's going to try and go in the shop. Oh, he crossed my path. He's going to smell that person, and now he's trying to go in the shop. Yep. So we've got someone else about to pop out of the automatic doors on our left, just around the corner, or just here, I can't remember. Yeah, there it is. So someone comes out of those doors. Yep, there we go. He's noticed them. He actually goes back to try and follow them. I didn't realise they didn't turn all the way around, so you can't. Oh, you can see it now. There you go. And you can have a look at the telegraph pole. Excellent. So this is familiar territory now. And hopefully as we turn left down by the fences again, the wind will drop off and we can go back to original audio. But yeah, there's nothing exciting happening here. He's just having a sniff as we walk along. He's not pulling particularly hard, which is nice. But again, it's still not as good as the previous week when he was genuinely loose leash for a bit. But it's better than it was. But we've been walking for a while now, so he's starting to get a little bit tired. And that's why the pulling has reduced a bit. Right, here we go. Let's try the original audio again.
Right. Familiar territory. Here we go. See what we see. So whilst I can see a long way into the distance, I will give him a bit more leash. But same rule applies. You go charging into anything like that, I'm not going to give you what you want. If you walk nicely and you're relaxed, you can. Person up ahead, there's like the shopping trolley around the corner. Okay, he did pull them, but he stopped as soon as he hit the end of that leash. He stopped the pull, so I'm not going to pause that. He acquiesces to the feedback from the leash. That's okay. So that's about as much as he's getting from me. Any shenanigans, I'm going to lock it. There's a little pull here. It's not that, but we're not having that. That digging of the back legs and the front legs into the floor to pull forward as hard as he can. You don't need to do that. Sorry, he's over there. Don't need to do that. Get what you want by walking nicely. There's no to go full speed head first into something. Just none. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit more leash here. I'm not really worried about anything behind me, nothing in front of me. There's no dogs behind these fences that I need to worry about. He's just having a smell. He's going a long way away from me, so he's on his own little mission here. Roadie has gone for a walk with Roadie. My whereabouts is of no concern to him. Now it is. Now he's realised how far away from me he is. Oops, I dropped the leash. That's nice for a check-in. Same deal. There is a dog in one of the end houses on the road. That's when it went nice start. Put a little bit of shortening of the leash on him. He smells funny. He's off on Roadie's little adventure again. He's just doing his own thing. I'm just going to wait for him. Yeah.
So I'm coming in with another voiceover because that was a bit windy, but it gets worse. It gets much worse here. And you can't hear anything I'm saying. You can just hear wind noise. I don't really know why Roadie paused there for so long. No idea. I don't know what he's up to. But as I was saying, he's really exploring the full length of the leash here. But I'm not that surprised. This is familiar territory to him. He knows which houses along here have dogs behind and which don't. He knows which smell interesting and which don't. And so he's a lot less concerned about where I am and what I'm doing, because he's been here several times before and he knows the area. There was a person coming down this path towards us. I don't know if you can see them. I can't see them at the moment in the film in the distance, but they seem to see us coming and turn around and go the other way. It is entirely plausible they just forgot something, because we weren't nearby. We were not close to them at all when they did that. But yeah, there was someone coming. I did see them out of the corner of my eye, turn around and go back the other way. There's also a motorbike that comes around the path some point in the next minute or two, once we get past this bush on the right. He didn't come down directly towards us, he went a different way, but quite obviously a delivery driver who got himself a little bit lost on the back streets and not entirely sure he should be riding on the pavement, but whatever. I guess they can get away with a lot. So yeah, I don't see anything or anyone along here for a little bit. But this is where we will come up to the teenagers. So that'll be around the next corner. So we're only a couple of minutes away from that. And that's where we'll do the detailed stuff. We'll analyse some behaviour and we'll analyse exactly what's going on in the moment. I can tell that things are not going as I'd like. That's a big gamble. I've said big words there. I don't actually know that I got it on film. I haven't rewatched this yet. I haven't rewatched the interaction, so I don't know. I might be coming up for me talking about stuff while we're looking at a blade of grass on the film, which would be very, very useless. So bear with me. Hopefully it's on the film. I don't have a great track record with that, but this is a body cam. It's not on my hat. It's not pointing where my eyes are pointing. It's pointing where my chest points. I think we'd get even less visuals of the dogs when I'm walking them. If I had a camera on my hat, it would just be pointing too far away. But we'll figure out a way of getting that better at some point. I'll put a camera on Roadie, I suppose, get a harness, get an attachment for a camera, put it on his back, and have any client's dog's view. That'd be quite interesting. So there we go, there's the motorbike, e-bike, sorry, it wasn't a motorbike, it was an e-bike. So completely silent except for the high-pitched whine they make that humans can barely hear, but dogs certainly can. Yeah, really not interested in that at all in any way, shape or form. Right. I don't know why he's looking back where he came from then, not sure what that was about. There's no one behind us. There's absolutely no one behind us at all. He's obviously on a scent. Okay, he doesn't usually do laps of me, so he's found something smelly and interesting. That's what that's about. Fair enough. Yeah, sorry about manipulating the leash so much. Right, it's around this corner and down here about 150 metres we'll come across the teenagers. It is still windy. I'm not going to go back to the original audio. There is no point here. You can see the trees going mad in the top of the screen there. It's just crazy. I did buy an alleged windproof mic. Hey, when it's really windy, even that's not up to the task. I have to go get a professional windproof mic, and maybe I will invest in one of those. Save me having to do so much voicing over and saying the same thing again. So we're only about, I suppose we're probably about 500-600 metres from Roadie's house at this point. So this is very familiar territory to him. So you can expect slightly more confident / happy to be at the end of the leash behaviour when a dog is in a more familiar environment. I think that kind of played out from where we were just walking to the place we hadn't been before, where there was no pressure on the leash and he just wasn't close to me. There's another person coming, I've forgotten about them. Yeah, I wanted Roadie to get on the other side of the path so that we could let this person past as they're walking on this side of the path, but Roadie seemed to have other ideas for a while. There was something he had to smell along here. I think there is a dog behind one of these houses. It wasn't barking at us. Oh, excuse me. There were no noises coming, but yeah, here we go. So I'm pulling him off the path. I don't like the way that he's looking at this guy. Something triggered in my head that wasn't going to be a nice interaction, so I took evasive action. I don't know what it was. I can't explain what triggered that feeling in my head, but it did. I didn't like the way that either the guy was walking towards us or the way Roadie was looking at him. Just set off an alarm bell in my head, so I said no. We're not doing a meeting. I'm not going to let you get close to him. So here we go. I think this is the teenagers. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Right, so we'll try original audio and we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, we'll just have to put up with voiceovers.
Is it friendly?
Yeah, he's friendly with people. Yeah. So just let him come to you. Yeah, just stand there and let him come to you.
Well, firstly, I can only apologise for not actually getting that on film and on footage. That's really, really annoying. But what you heard, Roadie did an air snap and a jump. The two teenage girls obviously jumped, but as soon as he'd done his single air snap, he just stood there. Yeah, that's what happens, and you'll hear in a minute when we go back to the original audio, the girl in the blue saying she's scared of dogs. So that's what happens when someone who's scared of a dog walks up to a dog and puts their hand in its face. It's not a clever idea. I did say let him come to you. She was initially hanging back, but she got lulled into a false sense of security by her friend. But there you go. It's just such a shame I didn't get footage. So what happened is that initially went well for a couple of seconds. Then Roadie stiffened. And he came up on three legs. He lifted one of his front legs off the ground. That's the moment I knew this wasn't going to go well. Didn't know why at the time. And yeah, then he air snapped. Anyway, right, let's listen to the girl say, "Oh, I'm scared of dogs." I'm hoping desperately I've picked that up on the audio. But if I haven't, that's why it went that way. That's why he did an air snap and a jump. If they were confident, or she was confident like her friend was, that would have been an absolutely fine meeting. Though, point to note, don't put your hands in the dog face like that. Just stand there and let the dog come to you. That's a far more natural way of doing things. Sorry, I've just got hiccups. This isn't going well. Right, we'll go back to original audio.
Sorry, I'm scared of dogs.
Ah, that's what he noticed. He noticed you were scared, and that's why he barked.
Yeah, exactly. I said barked there. He did. He has snapped and growled. Really, it was a growl, not a bark. Yeah, he smelt that nervousness, that fear on the girl, and that's what he reacted to. 100% true. But that's why we make such, I say we, me and my business partner, or my business partner and I, make such a big deal about the mood of the humans. It is so important when you're dealing with your dogs. They are so sensitive to you and so sensitive to other people, and the same applies for other dogs. That is why confidence is such a golden thing to have, because that is what makes things go well. Roadie and any other nervous dog and not confident dog would have reacted exactly the same in that situation. They'd have had the initial interaction with the girl who came forward first. She was perfectly calm and confident. She likes dogs. No issue. Then he gave the other girl a sniff, who also had stuck her hand out in his face, and he immediately smelt the fear in her. And that's what he reacted to. Dogs are seriously dialed into how we feel. They really are. They can smell the fear on us, the adrenaline, the cortisol. They can see the stiffness of the body language. I didn't see that girl was scared. Even looking at that footage back, you can see she hung back a bit. Well, that's not abnormal in any way, shape or form. But as you heard her say, yeah, she's scared of dogs. I wish I'd have noticed that a bit sooner, but I didn't. But Roadie can smell it, and any other nervous dog can smell it. And that goes for the people, the dogs, everyone, everything they're around. They smell your chemical mood, and they can see the stiffness of your movements. And if they are not a confident and they are a scared or anxious animal, they will react badly to it. This is why when working with dogs like Roadie and other clients' dogs who lack confidence, getting them around my two who are confident dogs goes well, because confidence is the thing that smooths over the situation. It overwrites the anxiety. The anxious dog will always feel the confidence, and that will rub off, and they won't have a freak out. But if you get, there are situations that's accepted, but even when we've had Roadie outside, on the leash like this, and we've come out and I've had my dogs come around, he still acts like a bit of a clown. but there's no ill will, there's no ill intent, but then he knows my dogs. It's not really a fair test. The fair test would be bring him around, and I will get to doing that one day soon, bring him around a genuinely confident dog for a first time public meeting, because he won't react the same way that he does towards a dog that is not confident or has similar mood to him or feelings to him, emotions, that's what I'm looking for, sorry, it's similar emotions to him. If he meets a dog in the same frame of mind as him, it's going to go badly. There's too much insecurity in a small space, and it will just go horribly wrong. But when he meets a genuinely confident dog, as you've seen with the people, when he meets genuinely confident people, no problem at all. Everything goes smooth, and confidence is king in that regard. I know I say calm is king, but it's got a brother called confidence. The two are of equal importance. Yeah, confidence is so important. When you're anxious, the dog responds to it. So this is why reactivity is so difficult to solve with an anxious human. Oh, we get out of the way of this scooter. You can't solve a reactive dog if the human holding the leash is anxious. If in effect they're reactive themselves at that point, because the dog knows what they're feeling. It can smell it, it can hear it, you can hear your heart rate if you're close to them, and so they will always react to that. That's why it's so important as an owner to get yourself worked on and get yourself in a calm, confident space. Even if you're kind of faking it a bit, you've got to get yourself in that space for your dog to be able to lean on that. Otherwise, it just won't ever fix. And there's only one way to do that, and that's through experience. You do have to fake it a bit to start having good experiences, and you get the confidence, and yeah, that's where people like myself come in. But yeah, we'll get there with Roadie. But he's not doing anything wrong with people. That's not a surprising reaction. You can't put scared people in front of insecure dogs. It doesn't go well. What are we doing here? There's a dog. So we do a little bit of work here. There's a pug and a chocolate lab. Yeah, that's right. There's a pug and a black pug, I think, and a chocolate Labrador who are walking around behind this tree somewhere. I don't know why I'm not looking at them, but I'm not. You just have to trust me. So that person, I think, in the distance, straight in front of us, has the pug, and I think the chocolate lab has gone past already to our left, and they come back again. So I stay here and just do a bit of work. So I will shut up and we'll go to original audio. No, sorry, gave up on that straight away. It's far too windy. You can't hear anything except wind noise. I can vaguely hear that I'm saying something. I can't even make it out listening to it back, so pointless. We give up. It's too windy. There is a dog on our left. It has gone past that bush. There is a pug ahead, which I'm looking at with the camera. So yeah, we're going to stay here and do a little bit of... I think it's a pug. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I saw a little flash of white then. I thought it was a black pug. We're going towards it. Okay, I don't remember doing this. This is not what I remember at all. Fine. I will stop talking till my memory stops playing tricks on me and I work out what on earth I think I'm doing. There's definitely a dog there. We're now level with it. Don't know why we're going this way. I'm lost. I really don't remember this. This is crazy. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why we're going over here. What kind of dog is over there? Was the pug last week then? Thought there was a chocolate lab and a pug. Maybe my memory's playing tricks on me and that was the last walker to Roadie. And it was in the same place, it was here. But clearly, we're not doing what I thought we were doing, which was stopping and looking at another dog. We're still walking. And I haven't even got a good shot of the other dog yet, so I'm not really sure what we're up to. Anyway. Okay, right, yeah, I'm with it. My memory has caught up with me. So it was a little dog on a flexi leash. Can't remember what. It was a white dog, it's not a pug. That must have been the last walk. We stayed a little distant from it. I did want to get closer, but as I got closer I realised it was on a flexi leash, so I needed to give a bit of distance because it was able to go where it wanted on that flexi leash, so that leash could be as long as the one I'm holding. So yeah, not a good idea to get too close. But yeah, it was just a little dog. I don't know what type. Nothing of no particular importance as to what type it was. So that's the end of that. They've carried on their way, so we'll just walk up here and then we go down the alleyway back to Roadie's house. I think that's the last we see of it. I have a feeling we get to the end of this little bit of road and he has a look at something else. Maybe they're waiting to follow us. I can't remember. I must admit, I don't know what we were doing. why I thought that dog was such a useful training aid, given we waited for it for ages. So maybe there was another dog on the other side of that bush that went past, as I was saying. Maybe there wasn't. I don't know. My memory is mixed up a couple of walks, I think. Whatever. So yeah, we'll go past this car. You can't get back to Roadie's house on this road. You have to go back onto the grass that we've come off. We're walking down here because I thought we could. I thought I could just follow this round to the left, but you can't. It's a cul-de-sac or close, so you can't get through. So we'll go back to on the grass, and then we will just walk down the alleyway to Roadie's house, and we're home, and that's the end of the video. So even the most interesting bit on this, we're interacting with the teenage girls. They didn't do a very good job of filming. I do apologise for that, but the lesson stands. Too much in... there was a dog there on the right hand side of the screen, just coming back this way. So I wasn't lying, there was 2 dogs. Good. I thought I was going insane. Yeah, so the lesson stands. You can't have insecurity in an enclosed space right in front of each other. It doesn't work. It doesn't go well. The dog will react to that insecurity, and it won't react in a confident way if it is not a confident dog itself. If it is, then it won't care. The confident dog will just ignore the insecure person. They won't particularly want to do anything with them or be involved with them. They'll just ignore them. And that's a nice place to be in, knowing that your dog will just ignore an unconfident person or not want to interact with an unconfident dog. So why am I just filming this bit of concrete and grass? The dog that I told you had walked past the bush to our left when we were facing this way has come back. So Roadie is now looking at it. He's very intently looking at it. So what I'm doing is what I usually do. I don't want to go back that way. The walk's over. So I'm facing this way. I'm using my body to tell Roadie that we're going this way. That's what we're doing. So when he chooses to come and have a check-in and see what I'm doing, because nothing's happening, he will see that I'm still trying to move this direction, and that will be the signal that this is where we're going. He doesn't do anything silly. He doesn't pull here. He's just stood there looking, but he's looking very intently, and he's not really in any mood to move quickly. But as always, no commands. Just wait him out. Just wait him out. It's good for him to just be looking and getting used to this. There's nothing wrong with him looking at dogs, and I want him to be able to do that and not get the emotional reaction he currently does, which is a huge spike in adrenaline and a huge spike in cortisol. I want him to be able to do it and just go, meh, another dog, I don't care, I'd rather keep walking with my human, thanks very much. Which in this case is me at the moment. At the same, I'd like to transfer that to the owner. So there we go, we're on our way. You'll just have to trust me. I didn't say anything, no commands, just wait for him to join me, and he did join me. So hopefully that's been a useful video. I know you've had to listen to me talk a lot, voicing over. I can tell I've been talking a lot because my voice is starting to hurt, and I can tell it's getting gravelly. So it's time to stop talking, but thankfully it is the end of the walk. We've got just getting through this alleyway and across the road, which I think goes uneventfully. I don't even think there was a car coming. We just got straight across the road. I do like to keep a short leash here because it is a fairly busy road. I don't want him just walking out when there's people driving, and I also don't want to get shocked if someone's got a dog come around the corner. I do need to be able to react to that situation to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible and safe for people. I don't want to scare people as we pop out. It's not very nice because Roadie will react to them being scared. We don't want that. So yeah, here we are. We're at Roadie's house, and that's I don't think I filmed. No, I don't film going in the house. So I'll chop the last 5 seconds off, and see you next time. Thank you.